Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the Los Angeles Clippers are hiring Jeff Van Gundy as a lead assistant. And I'm so happy for Jeff Van Gundy. As someone who, as a Rockets fan, he coached the Rockets, was the head coach for the Rockets for 4 seasons. Things didn't end amazing with him, but that was his last coaching job. Was after the Rockets with the 2006-07 season. Which was the season they went 52-30, just had a fluke in the playoffs. And he was really good as a Rockets head coach in 4 seasons. The Rockets went 182 and 146. Went to the playoffs 2 or 3 times. They were in the playoffs like three of the 4 seasons he was there. So they were really successful when Jeff Van Gundy was with the Rockets. And that was his last coaching job. And then Jeff Van Gundy went to coach, not coach. Then Jeff Van Gundy went to work for ESPN, where, honestly, in my opinion, ESPN built the best trio in announcing ever. I mean, it's very hard in announcing with, the broadcasting. It is very hard to find a trio because, most of the broadcasting, it's just 2 guys. And it's very hard to make 3 work. But with this case, when they paired up Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mike Breen, who's iconic for his, bang calls and double bang as well. When they paired those 3 guys up, it was amazing. It's the best. I think it's the best broadcasting trio that basketball, or maybe you could say all sports, has ever seen. Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson's basketball knowledge, and Mike Breen being such a great announcer, it was amazing. Until ESPN decided to fire like 30 different people, which included Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. And that really screwed over Jeff Van Gundy and his brother Stan Van Gundy, who, if you didn't know that Stan Van Gundy and Jeff Van Gundy were related, which I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a weird last name to not be related to. That's an uncommon last name is what I'm trying to say. But Stan Van Gundy, who has been the coach for the Pelicans and the Magic, and most recently has been working for TNT since he was last fired by the Pelicans, I believe, has been working for TNT. And Stan Van Gundy went on a podcast talking about how much ESPN firing him effed him up, because ESPN fired Jeff Van Gundy right after the coaching window was over. They fired him in October. Coaching window was absolutely over. You could not, there was not any real coaching jobs that you could find. He got a job with the Celtics, but it wasn't a coaching job. He had some different role, which he just won his first NBA championship with. So that's really cool, right? So he just won his first NBA championship with the Boston Celtics. That's really cool, but he wasn't a part of the coaching staff or anything like that. That's what he's going to do with the Clippers. But when they fired him, he had no chance whatsoever to become a coach for the 2022-23 season, which the 23-24 season, which really screwed him over. But now he's going to become a coach. He's going to be an assistant coach for the Clippers. And honestly, I don't think it'll be long before he's a head coach, because this is someone who's been a head coach, a successful head coach with the New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets. Was very decent with the New York Knicks as their head coach. And this is someone, while he was working with ESPN, same thing goes for Mark Jackson, had many interviews to become a head coach. There was a lot of interest always for these 2 guys, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, during the offseason. And they always chose ESPN over coaching. Well, I don't know if the coaching jobs really had interest, but they'd always have interviews. They'd always have interest. But somehow they still end up staying at ESPN. But now they've been fired. Now they are, Mark Jackson doesn't really have a coaching job right now, but Jeff Van Gundy is now assistant with the Clippers. He's going to be a lead assistant as well. So I think this is a great chance for him to potentially become a head coach in the near future. I think in the next year or 2, you could be looking at Jeff Van Gundy being an NBA head coach somewhere. I'm calling it right now. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.